Welcome to r/entitled people, where we share stories from your lives about people who think the rules don't apply to them and they should get what they want. Thank you, friends, for subscribing to the channel and for so many likes. And today we have 3 great stories, so subscribe, hit the like button, and let's begin. The first story, Battle of the Parking Spots, taking on the entitled intruder. The second story, Best of the I Told You So series, Karma punishes entitled manipulators. The third story, Turning the Tables on HR, How I Exposed Pay Disparities in the Tech Industry. The first story is Parking Problems. I'm a 33 male veteran and have a no-nonsense mentality. This often comes off as abrasive, but in reality I don't care for small talk, preamble, or social niceties. I'm rarely rude, but won't go out of my way to go beyond the bare minimum of civility with anyone beside close friends and family. I'm part owner of a custom fabrication wood shop in the USA in a small out-of-the-way light industrial building, where we rent 4K square feet. We have a large sign over our main entrance, and nothing out at the street. On this sign is our business name, and a short clear description of our service/product. You would have to drive approximately 150 yards from the street to get to our shop. Our door is always locked and you can't walk in the bay doors, as we have to keep our shop climate controlled. Now, we do have 2 retailers on either side of us, as well as a small engine repair shop on the end. The retailers sell pallet returns from Amazon, Walmart, Costco, etc. Their customer base is very wide, and we've seen people come with trailers and sedans to fit a pallet's worth of goods in. Needless to say, I've seen my fair share of people who come back for a second trip, and some less intelligent who turn their car into a driving hazard. We have limited parking that are marked to prevent our spots from being blocked for deliveries and pickups, etc. On every parking spot in front of our shop there's a no parking sign, and cars will be towed at owner expense, etc. All perfectly legal. My fiance and I come into the shop on a Sunday to make a few cut-on-the-table saw for some personal projects. The benefit of having a 300K shop available to you. The pallet retailer next to us on the left is having some huge sale, and 2 of our spots are taken. Not a huge deal since it's Sunday. The owner of the shop next door comes out and apologizes. It's not his fault. His customers have room temp IQs. We're cool. Customers blocking spots leave as I'm pulling up the project from the back of my Prius. Don't judge me. I've hauled more inside my Prius than most Pavement Princess trucks have or ever will. Plus, it's still getting 43 miles per gallon at 330K miles. 5 stars. A small Ford Transit-style vehicle pulls up right next to me in one of our spots as I'm unlocking my front door. The fellas get out. Has I'm quite proud of myself smile on his face as he surveys his surroundings and starts to walk over to the pallet retailer. I get a flat look after realizing he's not here for my business. It being a Sunday. Not on my watch. I don't care if you're the president of these United States. If you're not here for my business upon invitation or delivery/pickup, you gotta go. I ask him loud enough for him to hear, "Would you like to move your car?" Not actually being obligated to remind him that he's indeed in a tow-away zone. Signs are posted and are very obvious. He doesn't say anything I can hear, get back in his car and moves. My fiance and I go inside our shop, make some cuts and go home. The guy wasn't there when we left. Not an entitled person's story up to this point. It's a Sunday, I get it. When asked to move by the owner, he did promptly without argument. This brings me to this morning. My boss, also my dad, comes into work with a very interesting story. Mostly the aforementioned, but apparently this gentleman had left a Google review. Gasp. Oh no, whatever will I do? Something to the effect of how some D-bag in a Prius told him he couldn't park there. And why did it matter, because we were closed anyway? Insert grammatically atrocious saber rattling on how he felt entitled to parking wherever he wanted because he's a paying customer. Haha, not my customer, so not my spots, regardless of the day or time. I'm sure it happens regardless, but when I'm here, y'all gotta go. The review was taken down for offensive language and bullying. Hope you enjoyed, and be careful out there. The Karens will find you. It seems that parking is forbidden is some abstract foreign language phrase for a certain category of people. And your story is just a prime example of how some people think they own the whole world and can park anywhere, even if it's clearly marked as forbidden. That guy in the Ford Transit is a true hero who conquered the Forbidden Lands and then quickly retreated after your question. And of course, he decided to share his heroic feat in a Google review so the world would know what a great guy he was. But you managed to bring order to this universal garden of self-rule, and his review was destroyed for his willfulness. But man, you shouldn't have told him to leave. You should have been more subtle. Let him park the car, but when he leaves, notify the police and tow the car to the impound lot. Let him pay the money. But as they say, what is done is not to change, but for the future. Entitled people better learn when faced with the negative consequences of their actions. The second story is, clients don't have budget to hire me, so they change me to suit their budget. I was working with a couple to renovate their home in NYC. They had narrowed their search down to myself and one other, with me being the preferred, and the other being the more budget option. I gave these clients my detailed spreadsheet of costs so they could use it to pick and remove the non-essentials in the hopes of getting closer to the number they wanted. They had so many luxuries it actually shouldn't be hard to do. A few days later, they both called me announcing they've done it in a celebratory manner. Now, my price as designed was almost 1.7 mil. If I removed every single non-essential item, I could get the budgets down to 1.275 mil. I opened the sheet and they had somehow got it to 955K. I look through it briefly and see literally nothing has been removed. We are 600K or more lower to build the same house. So I call the client to ask if I have the right spreadsheet, and the wife answers and says, "Oh sorry, maybe not, I'll resend." Resends it, we remain on the phone to go through it together. Same thing, same pricing, same sheet. I tell the client I'll call her back. I open the original sheet and put it side by side, and I can't see what's changed initially. I finally saw what had happened about a minute later. First thing I notice is the fancy 7K archway, which in the spreadsheet that was closer to 10K with all the markups, etc. But the base price was $7,250. They had simply gone to that number and changed it to $1,750. I keep looking and they've gone through my whole spreadsheet and done this. Another example is they wanted this custom railing and staircase on an exterior metal deck. This was an item they were to remove based on conversations. This was 25K or so, but they had changed it to 8K. There were so many examples of this. I call the client still confused, thinking maybe they had thought, "Oh, we won't spend 10K on the fancy archway. We'll have you just do whatever 2K can buy us." I asked what had happened and they said, "Client, we just adjusted some numbers until we came up with our budget." Okay, to be clear then, in the areas you've lowered my numbers, you're expecting less, correct? For example, the archway, you want me to just put up a regular trim detail there or whatever 1750 can buy? Client sounding confused. No, we still want the archway. Why? Hang on, so you're still expecting the details as they're drawn in the bid set? Husband joined call around here. Client, yes, why? Sounding really confused or doing a good job of acting confused. So you haven't removed any items? You've just lowered the price to what exactly? Client, I don't understand. Maybe I'm not being clear, so I'll use an analogy then. I've said I'm going to cook you a burger with all the trimmings for $10. You guys have $6, so I've said, hey, here's my menu, go ahead and remove the bacon, the egg, and see if we can get to a price you're happy with. But it seems like you just changed the price of the burger on the menu to $5 without removing anything, is that correct? Client, tone changes for first time ever from upbeat and caring to like evil stepmother? Oh, I see, yes. Well, we looked through a lot of your pricing, we just don't see how they could cost what you've quoted. So we changed them to where we thought they should be. I was up until this point wondering if they're stupid or manipulative, and it was in this moment I realized it was the second one. Based on what? Client, what? What did you base your numbers on? How did you decide what they should be? Client, I guess we just thought about what was reasonable and what we thought was fair for everyone. Side note, nothing induced rage in me quicker than a client talking about paying me fair. Okay, look, this is really inappropriate. I gave the sheet over in good faith for you to review what could be removed or retained, but it was not so you could decide what you wanted to pay. The pricing in there is truly reflective on what I can do the job for in a way that allows for minimal price changes and allows me to be in business after to honor your warranty. Client, we just don't get how these things can cost so much. In that moment, I then see at the bottom my profit margin is 15%, standard in the area I worked in, and they had changed it to 5%, so we're talking like 100K. Guys, you changed my profit margin? You can't do that. It's not a negotiation, it's an offer to perform services. Okay, look, I need some time to consider my next move here. Client sensing they're losing me. We're seeing this as a partnership. You could use this house as a showroom for future clients. I see every job as a partnership, but ultimately it's your house. Almost all my old clients allow me to show their home. I get invited to dinners regularly and birthdays. I'd love you guys to be part of that, but I can't pay 500K plus to do that here. My pricing is set. I put my best foot forward. If you want to work with me, I'm going to build you a wonderful home. As always, please reach out with questions. They ended up hiring a contractor who agreed to their pricing and scope. When he calls to let me know they were going with the other guy, 3 weeks after he was supposed to, I said, listen, no hard feelings, but you have my spreadsheet. You can see the job's raw cost and it's 300K lower than that number. Be careful. He just replied, it'll be fine, kinda smugly. They also needed the job completed in 8 months, which is very tight in NYC. 2 years later, I ran into the architect. The clients still were yet to move in and they were living in an Airbnb. and almost double budget with lawyers involved with the contractor. I never take pleasure in others' suffering, especially in NYC, but it was hard not to feel a small sense of I told you so. I truly believe when they called saying they'd done it, I think they were hoping I'd write the contract and not notice. It was truly insulting. Oh my god, I'm in shock. That's amazing. What is this BS like, well, we thought it couldn't be that expensive? Do you manufacture these things, or have you even monitored the prices on the internet? How can they be that stupid? And at the same time, they really think they're effing smart. It's like if I go to an electronics store and say I want the latest MacBook Pro. The seller, $5,000. I don't know how much it costs. I walk up to the counter with the MacBook, take a marker, cross out the price of $5,000, and write $30 below. I go to the consultant and say, I'll take it for $30, and add that it doesn't cost $5K. I'll be kicked out of the store right away. Same thing in the story. The OP should have told them to go to hell for playing tricks with the table. In any case, karma got them and they got what they deserved. When they wanted to save money, they had to pay twice as much. Haha. The third story is, I played the hiring HR asking for my current pay. I think we've all seen lowball moves from HR asking for current pay to pay lower than what the candidate is supposed to get. Today I'm here to share a story about how I played the HR. I'm in the IT industry. As you would know, tech market is hot now. One day my friend and I received a LinkedIn message from the same recruiter about the same job. We both applied at the same time. So going through the same interview, we both got through, and before the final offer stage, the HR asked for our current pay. For the fun of it, we decided to share it with the HR to see how different the offers would be. For context, my friend and I are college course mates. Same year, same first company, but he went the public service route. I went the private route after that. So my pay grade is about 40 to 50% higher than his, even though our starting pay was the same. Back to the story, the offers we received were very different. Of course, as expected, HR capped it and portrayed it as the best they could do based on our current pay. So we reached out to the recruiter and let him know that my friend and I are pals, and we're aware of the pay disparity between our offers, and we're prepared to turn the job down if this is the kind of behavior from HR, and we demanded an answer from the hiring manager. Of course, after hearing this, the recruiter scrambled and scheduled meetings to resolve this. First up, the technical manager that evaluated us told us that the grade recommendation was the same. No idea why the disparity was there. Recruiter also told us the offer for the position was in the 200 to 250K range. My friend was offered below 200, whilst I got 240. Next, the HR called us and told us that there was an NDA about the pay, and we're not allowed to discuss it. I think this is a fear-mongering move since we didn't sign anything. But I digress. She later said that it was due to our technical evaluation that we were offered the different amounts, which we debunked in the first call with the technical manager. After threatening to reject the offer, the HR offered my friend the same pay as I have, and I rejected the offer. My friend accepted it. This is a really interesting story about how you can prank the HR guy and get the company to reconsider their offerings. Raising your friend's salary to your level after your intervention is a real trick. HR in this situation fell for your trap, and it seems they tried to pin you down, but you remained resolute and didn't let yourself be tricked. Obviously, your friendship and interaction helped bring justice to this story. And of course, your decision to decline the offer, even though the friend accepted it, sent a clear message to the company that they can't play around with candidates without expecting any consequences. Thank you for your likes, comments, and subscriptions. I really appreciate it.